And that is the Fulton electric tongue jack. David again, back with another mod video here at ROA. Today we are going to be looking at 16 Island. One of my main responsibilities is R&D, figuring out and building stuff. But you know, sometimes I just want to destroy something. Like just you get that urge, we're just gonna, yeah, come on! Last week we looked at 3 mods we have done before, but we're new on this unit. Today we're actually going to be looking at a brand new mod that we've installed on this unit, but can pretty much incorporate to most of our lineup across different manufacturers, but specifically with MDC, we can do this with just about every single model that we have. So this is the Fulton XLT 12-volt electric tongue jack. We run the wiring for, place the mount up here on the front. But what's really cool is it's good for up to 2,500 pounds of tongue weight. This unit doesn't even come close to it. Most of our units don't even come close to that, or none of them do. I think our heaviest one is still half of that. So this can pretty much suffice for every trailer we have in our lineup. We're going to be focusing on the application of it on an MDC today. As you can see, bolts onto the frame very easily. We primarily just run the wiring, and then in this case we did have to remove the jockey wheel. If that's important to you, especially in recovery situations, we can do both. It will just require some alterations to the tongue, specifically the garden spigot here. We just have to move that back, but by doing so it will allow space to do the jockey wheel and the electric tongue jacks. If that's something you're interested in, let your service advisor know and we can make that alteration. If not, and you just want the electric tongue jack like you see here, we can remove that jockey wheel and replace it with the tongue jack. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into some of the functions of the jack. Here you have an on-off switch. Pretty straightforward there. However, when you do turn it on, it actually has some LED lights along the bottom here. So if you are disconnecting or hitching up to your trailer at night, it does provide that additional light source. So it has 2 side ones along with this front one here. So decent lighting around where you're working, around the tongue especially. So that way it's not really a safety issue. Most jacks don't really have that built in, so it's nice that they do have that. Once it's on, you're now safe to either retract it or extend it. All you have to do is hold the button down, and as you can see, it's retracting, and then switch to extending. That's it. All of our lineup is based around off-grid, off-road RVs, and so a lot of you are going to be taking this into, you know, the middle of nowhere, have, you know, limited resources, etc. So one concern always is redundancy. If your 12-volt goes out for any reason, or your batteries die, or just some unforeseen circumstance, you're not stuck not being able to hook up to your truck, because if you remove this tab here, it actually gives you access to a manual crank that you can manually lift and lower the jack as needed. So this is actually a 15mm attachment, so you just want an extension. Even if you just have a manual ratchet, that will do the trick. Otherwise, you can put it on a drill and use it that way as well. Just as, you know, a backup, it's really nice to have that built in and have it be so easily accessible. And then one final thing is it is an on-off switch. The main benefit of that is when you turn it off, it's not drawing any power when you don't need it. So that's just really nice to have, especially if you're trying to extend the life of your battery as much as possible. Every little bit matters. Just nice to have that on-off function along with everything else we've kind of covered. Ultimately, if you're like me, when you go on a road trip, you're trying to, you know, hit as many national parks and roadside attractions as possible. You're probably going to be camping in a different spot every couple of nights. So if you just have the manual crank, that's a lot of cranking up, cranking down. If you don't really want to deal with that, electric tongue jack is a great alternative where you want to save your energy for the trails or this activity or whatever. So let us know if this is something you're interested in, especially if you're getting an MDC of any model. Let us know even if you're not getting one, and we'll do the R&D and figure out if it's possible on the trailer you are getting. So let your service advisor know any of our locations, and we'll discuss your options and help get your Roma ready.
They get messy. Oh, come on. Oh. All right. I give up.